In an attempt to smear Bernie Sanders' name, Hillary Clinton accused him of being a sexist. Now, here's her statement and then Bernie Sanders' response.
I've been told to stop, and I quote, shouting about gun violence. Well, first of all, I'm not shouting. It's just when women talk, some people think we're shouting.
You're the one she's quoting, Senator Sanders. She is suggesting in public that you have a problem with women speaking out.
Well, all that I can say is I am very proud of my record on women's issues. I certainly do not have a problem with women speaking out. And I think what the Secretary is doing there is taking words and misapplying them. What I was saying is if we are going to make some progress on dealing with these horrific massacres that we're seeing, is that people have got to start all over this country talking to each other. It was not Hillary Clinton. You have some people who are shouting and other people all across this country. You know that. This nation is divided on this issue. What I have said is I think there is a consensus out there that talks about banning assault weapons, that talks about expanding instant background checks, that talks about doing away with the gun show loophole, making sure that this straw man situation becomes federal law, and we make sure that guns do not get into the hands of people who should not have them, that we deal with the mental health crisis. What I was talking about very clearly is that all across this country, you got people shouting at each other.
Right, but she's suggesting that you're saying that she's shouting and that you, when you hear a woman talking, you think that they're shouting.
Well, what can I say? That's just not the case.
Of course that's not the case, but if you watched the debate and paid attention like I did, you'll see that Bernie Sanders said the same thing to Martin O'Malley as well. Take a look.
It's time to stand up and pass comprehensive gun safety legislation as a nation.
Senator Sanders, I want you to be able to respond. 30 seconds.
I think the governor gave a very good example about the weaknesses in that law, and I think we have to take another look at it. But here is the point, Governor. We can raise our voices, but I come from a rural state, and the views on gun control in rural states are different than in urban states, whether we like it or not. If you think that we can simply go forward and pass something tomorrow without bringing people together, you are surely mistaken.
Somebody who has a...
So it's very obvious he was talking about both sides yelling at each other, the left and the right. I mean, that's very explicit. He made this extremely clear. And I really think Hillary Clinton has the nerve to try to accuse Bernie Sanders of sexism when he defended her over her email scandal thing. I mean, it just made me so mad when I saw this. And furthermore, Hillary Clinton, it just proves how much of a hypocrite she is. Because what she say a few months prior? She stated that the Bible is her favorite book. Now, if you actually dive into the Bible and see what it says about women speaking out and women yelling, well, it says this, quote, "They are not allowed to speak, but must be in submission as the law says." That's 1 Corinthians 14:34. Now, furthermore, quote, "I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet." And that's 1 Timothy 2:12. Now, there's more, but you get the point. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that if you have a problem with men trying to tell women to not speak out and to be quiet, well, then maybe you shouldn't have said that the Bible is your favorite book, Hillary Clinton, but you're a hypocrite. And basically, you get to pick and choose what you believe, so that way it fits your political narrative. So I don't think that she actually believes this bullshit that Bernie Sanders is a sexist, because obviously he's not. But what she does, much like her policy positions, is she'll come to a conclusion if it's politically expedient. It doesn't matter if she actually thinks a certain way. She's driven by focus groups. She's driven by polls. And if hurting Bernie Sanders by smearing his name and calling him a sexist is going to help her polls, then let's do it. She's done. She's on it. So this is what I like to call gutter politics. Only the worst of the worst engage in it, and she is demonstrating that she's just as bad as the Republicans, and she should be absolutely ashamed of herself to do this to someone, especially Bernie Sanders, because, I mean, he stood up and fought for women's rights anytime he's had the chance to do so. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean that you're going to be better on women's rights than Bernie Sanders. He may not have that experience, but you can look at his record. It speaks for itself. It's just absolutely disgusting. This made me really mad because, I mean, Bernie Sanders has gone out of his way to avoid attacking Hillary Clinton, and she has no problem at the first opportunity she could possibly get to just wage the worst attack possible, to call him a sexist. It's disgusting. And Hillary Clinton, this just shows why she's a bad candidate and people don't trust her.